Hi there, I'm Emily Smucker, and this week I'll be making an adorable strawberry apron for my friend Kathrine.
Know you've been a good friend.
Kathrine is my little sister Jenny's best friend forever and always. And so, that makes her my friend too.
You've been a good friend.
Kathrine came to Oregon for part of Christmas break, and I was gonna make her this really cute strawberry apron as a Christmas present, but then I got sick and didn't finish it. Now, when I was in Oregon working on this, I did not film any of the process, so I'm going to recap using some crayon drawings and vivid descriptions. Thankfully, my mom has a lot of extra scrap fabric and patterns, and Jenny told me that Kathrine's favorite colors were tea green and coral. So I found these extra fabrics and I started on the apron. This here is the pattern I used. I considered making this little cherry applique, but then I was like, wait a minute, you know what would be even cuter? A strawberry. And then I was like, maybe I should do strawberry pockets. Even though I did use a pattern for this, I think you could make it without a pattern, so I'm going to show you exactly what I did. So out of this tea green gingham, I cut out the main apron piece, the two bodice pieces, and the two shoulder straps pieces, which I had to redraw here because I wanted to show that they were thick enough that after being folded over, they'd be the right width for the shoulders. And then out of this coral fabric, I cut these two waistband pieces and two apron ties, which again are intended to be folded in half. So here's how I made a pattern for the strawberries. Basically, I just Googled like strawberry clip art or something. I ended up at this website, like how to draw a strawberry. And I used this here picture. I just copied it. I think I pasted it into Paint first so I could kind of trim the, margins so it would fit in a Word document better. And then I just pasted it into a Word document, dragged the picture until it was as big as I wanted my strawberry pockets to be, and then I printed out a couple copies and used it to make my pattern for the stem and for the strawberry pocket itself. Now obviously the pieces I cut from the pattern had a seam allowance built in, and the pattern I made myself from Microsoft Word and Paint did not have seam allowances built in. So basically I just traced the patterns onto the fabric with chalk so I could see where to sew. And then I just cut like approximately a ½ inch around that, but I knew where to sew because of the chalk lines I'd drawn. Overall, I cut out 4 strawberry pieces out of the coral fabric and 4 leaf pieces out of some dark green fabric scraps. Then I layered them up right sides together and stitched along the chalk lines, after which I turned them right side out and ironed them. Now, as you can imagine, the leaf pieces were difficult and fiddly to get turned inside out like this, so I cut little slits in the seam allowance to help, and I ended up top stitching the leaves by hand so I could fix any holes or other issues that came up, and so that I could close up the hole that I left in the top. For the strawberries, I just ironed them flat, and then I made seeds by making this simple lazy daisy embroidery stitch out of white thread. Then I fiddled around quite a bit with the placement of the pockets before finally sewing them in place. So that's where I was at with the project when I left Oregon, and this week I decided I was going to pick up where I left off. So first I hemmed 3 edges of the apron front, and the top edge I gathered and then sewed it to one of the waistband pieces right sides together. Then I moved on to the ties, which I folded in half, sewed on the long edge, and then sewed on this end turned them right side out, ironed them, and sewed them to the waistband right sides together. Now, while I did this, I listened to Jenny and Kathrine's podcast, which is called Idiot's Alphabet Soup. They talk about books, math, and other fun stuff, and I totally think that you should listen to it. You can search for it in your favorite podcast app. It's called Idiot's Alphabet Soup. And in fact, why don't we listen to a bit of it together right now?
Oh, this is so depressing. I don't want to think about you dying. Okay, Jenny, let's end this potty on a high note. Okay. Because this is kind of a downer. Yes. Okay, say we are 60 years old. Alright. And we're at a pretty decent nursing home. Oh, maybe not 60, let's say 70. And like, girls live longer than guys. So let's say our husbands, so let's say our husbands are dead. And we're both in our nursing homes. I mean, we're in the same nursing home. What is the strategy to rule the nursing home? We are gonna wrap this thing up. Wrap it up. Okay, any last thoughts about Atul Gawande? Because we have strayed from our discussion guide.
I gotta see what's going on my apron.
Nice. Looks very, I see these things come up on TikTok that are like sort of, rural homemaker chic.
Yes. Then I moved on to the top of the apron. First I folded the straps in half and sewed along the long edge, and then I turned them right side out. After that, I pinned them to the right side of one of the bodice pieces at the shoulders. Then I put the other bodice piece on top, right sides together, so that the straps were kind of sandwiched in the middle, and I sewed all the way around, except of course I left the bottom open. And after that, I turned it right side out and pressed it. After that, things really started to come together. I gathered the bodice piece here, and then sewed it to the top of the waistband right sides together. Actually, technically it was more like basting because I still had to add the other waistband piece to hide the ugly parts, but first, before I did that, I pinned the other side of the straps to the waistband also. I actually had to adjust it because the straps were too long, and then I also sewed those straps in place. Finally, it's time to sew on the last piece. So with the pretty side facing you, fold down the top of the bodice and all the straps and everything just like this, and then take the second waistband piece, iron a hem onto it, and then lay it down on top of the other waistband with the right sides together and sew these three sides, not the hem side, just the other three sides. Anyway, then you'll turn it right side out and it will look like a beautiful apron, and all that's left to do is the inside bottom edge of the waistband, the part that you just ironed, but it's not sewed yet. The pattern said to slip stitch it shut, but I didn't know what that meant, and so I just wanted it done, didn't want to look it up, so I just hand sewed it the best I could as invisibly as possible. I actually forgot to do a final reveal until the day I was trying to send it to Kathrine before I had to rush out the door to the library, and so I hastily filmed this and, in the meantime, talked to my neighbors for the first time ever. Thank you. Hi. Thank you. I made it myself, and now I'm just trying to film it. I did. Yeah, I made it for a friend. Wow, I'm impressed. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kathrine. I'm Emily's friend, and I am going to be opening a package from Emily. Got my scissors handy. Let me open it up here. Ay, ay, ay. Open. It feels like clothes. Maybe. Oh, there's a letter. Oh my gosh. Emily, did you know that, this is so cute. Okay, to provide context, I'm about to get married, and tell me this is not wife material right here. Hi, I'm Kathrine, and I'll cook you dinner. Cute! I love it so much. Oh my gosh. And it has strawberries on it. I love it. It makes me want to start cooking. Oh, look at this. Wife material. Am I right? Should I read the card out loud? I'm going to read it. Oh, I love this so much. Dear Kathrine, thank you for being such a good friend. I made this for you in love. It can be a late Christmas gift or an early wedding gift or a little of both. LOL, love Emily. Emily, I love it. This is awesome. Also, I've never had an apron before. Do that what you will. But yay, eek, I'm happy. Thank you.
Well, that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back next week to learn why I've been living in this Airstream for the past couple